What's up, guys? Welcome or welcome back to the Saving Men's Lives Network. I recently did a video on this young lady here who is a OF content creator who's having some regrets about what her life has become since starting down that path. And on that video, I had a unique situation happen. For those of you who haven't seen it, I'll pin it down to the top comment so you can check it out. But during the comment section, there was a young lady who left a comment named Ms. Jacqueline Walker. And I wanted to touch on what she had to say on the issue because we agree more than we disagree, but I wanted to set the record straight. So we're going to break this comment down into sections so we can discuss it fully and clear the air. This is to all the men in the comments. This woman went through trauma and everyone on here is trashing her. Okay. Let me start off by saying that no one was trashing the girl in the video. And I think that boils down to perception because men and women communicate very differently with each other and to each other. Women love to talk around the issue. Men don't have that luxury. We, in order to quite literally build the world around you that you live in and that a lot of women take for granted, takes very direct communication. Men have to speak directly to each other, and this is a uniquely male space. With that said and understood, what was pointed out in that video was that this attractive young woman, I do think that she's attractive objectively. If she was doing anything else for a living than what she does, she'd be a prospect for most guys. The problem is she sold herself to the lowest common denominator. And it's okay for us to say so. It's okay for us to call her bad decision making. But you made more points, so let's address those also. This is my first time on this channel, and I'm a trad wife. Probably the woman you all dream of. I'm serious. But what good woman would want a relationship with you when you have so much hate in your heart? Well, first of all, thank you for joining us. Thank you for finding us through the magic of the algorithm. And congratulations to your parents for raising a young woman who has what most would consider traditional family values. Thank you to them for raising a woman who thinks they're important enough to abide by. High five to your husband for finding you and putting a ring on it and making it official. Salute. But I will say this, hate is a very powerful word. For I don't hate the girl in the video previously. I don't hate her. I'm worried about her because she's simply a symptom of a much larger problem. She's the runny nose when the cold's what we need to be addressing. And the cold in this situation, metaphorically speaking, is the cultural rot that makes women like her young, beautiful. I would imagine she's in pretty great shape, thinking that this is her best option, that putting herself on the internet without her clothes on, doing God knows what with God knows who, for money, is her highest and best use. I don't believe that, and I refuse to think that you do. And we don't even know each other. Pretty audacious on my part, I'm sure. But I don't hate this woman. And the thing of it is, we need to remind ourselves that no good woman would have an OnlyFans account. Let me repeat that for the folks sitting way in the back who didn't hear me the first time. No good woman would even have an OnlyFans account. No good woman would be a lot lizard at a truck stop. No good woman is swinging on a pole, stuffing 20s into her G-string to pay her light bill this month. Good women don't do that. Women who are lost, damaged, and broken, however, probably will and do. You went on to say that we are all hurt by something, but you have to realize the whole world is under like some type of dark, almost evil days where a lot of men and women turn away from family morals. But I'm here to say that there are good men and women, and places like the gym or church is where you find them. Now on this we agree. I do, like you, think that there's a shroud of darkness all over this Western culture. Here in the States, up in Canada, and I would imagine over in the UK and other Western EU nations. This hedonism, this if it feels good, do it type of spirit. That's pervasive. It's everywhere. It's in the advertising. It's in the music. People are falling for it. They're taking into consideration short-term gratification and payouts, never minding the long-term consequences. The reason why I have issue with the girls in this lane is they're in the prime of their health. They're in the prime of their youth. They're in the prime of their fertility windows. This is the time if they were smart, if they were guided by people who cared about them truly, and if they listened to those people who were trying to guide them properly. This is the time you find a good dude, lock in, begin a family when it's easiest for your body to A, have kids. Let's start with that. But B, recover after childbirth. I'm never going to know what that's like to have a child. I fully admit my ignorance in that regard. But I gotta believe it's easier to bounce back and you'll have a lot less health problems giving birth to a kid in your early mid-20s than you are waiting around into your late 30s, just due to the way the body's set up, due to the fact that entropy is a real part of our universe. And so you mentioned about finding people in church and at the gym. Now, I'll back your play on church. I'll back your play on church because finding somebody who's equally yoked with you, who shares your spiritual values, who shares your spiritual walk of life is going to be critical in the months and years going forward. Absolutely. If you guys are spiritually aligned, you're going to sidestep a lot of problems most people run headfirst into. But I made a video not too long ago, and I'll link that down. I'll pin that down to the top comment as well about how toxic the gyms have become now that they've become co-ed in the digital age. With the Chinese Communist Party's app called TikTok, a lot of women have taken it as an opportunity to harm men and their reputations by pretending that they're creeping on them, making it an environment that's gotten so bad most men have just stopped going to gyms altogether and they started working out through calisthenics in their houses or building home gyms. So the gym, once upon a time, perhaps could have been a great thing. Maybe you and your husband met in the gym. You guys are both fit, both spiritually aligned. I'm glad it worked out for you, but most guys have washed their hands entirely of meeting women in that environment. So check out that video as well down in the top comment. You finished off by saying this world is sick, and instead of trashing it, we need to teach our children the opposite. And again, I do not disagree with this take. I have children, and they're very, very young, single-digit age, to be very specific. And I want them to have a future. Because I got one of each, a son and a daughter. So I want them both to grow up in a world where they can, number one, understand that having values is the best thing possible. I want them to have people in their lives bringing life into them instead of destruction. Peer pressure to do awful things that will harm them for years and years to come. That's what I want. But I'm not naive enough to think that evil forces aren't after them like ravenous wolves roaming the countryside. For this young lady and girls like her, they've already made the bad decision they can't undo. Once something's on the internet, it can't be removed. It's there forever. Downloaded to somebody's hard drive, screenshot on somebody's phone. She's never going to get away from this. And the problem is, well, a couple of problems. One, she said she's been desensitized. And what did she think was going to happen? Most of us have seen the data on what happens in a woman's brain once too many men have entered her. Once too many penises have conquered a woman. Her ability to pair bond with the dude she was supposed to end up with initially becomes impossible. Because what happens is comparison becomes the enemy of joy. She meets a good dude who'll be good to her and a great kid to her unborn children. Because trust me, if she had kids, with that video being the sympathy play that it was, she would have led with that. She would have led with her being a single mom, doing the best she can, scrambling, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. That's why she's doing this. She doesn't have kids yet. But think about three things. Number one, if she gets a good dude who isn't some top shelf, high income, top 5, top 10%er. Maybe he's a guy that works at Walmart, the Amazon warehouse. Maybe he drives for UPS. I don't know. But a good dude from a good family who loves her, cares about her, will take a bullet for her, who'll be a great dad. She's going to look at him like, look at this guy. Compare him to the 50, 80, 100, 2, 3, 400 guys she's been with already. You know, this guy's cool, but Jim had a yacht. This guy's cool, but Bobby had a Ferrari. This guy's cool, but Grayson, who couldn't hold a job worth a damn, that dude couldn't hold down a job to save his life, but he had a 10-inch hammer. And the list goes on and on. She gets with this new guy, this regular guy who's a regular dude, hypothetically speaking, and she's going to think she's settled for that guy. What a damn shame. Not to mention the fact that if she did find herself in that situation, became a mom, kids are cruel. Kids were cruel when I was in school, way before there was an internet, way before there was social media. If you had big ears or a big nose, or you had acne, or if you were a girl and you were small chested, or you ain't had no ass, or if you were a guy and you were kind of chunky, or, you know, the list goes on. If you had a weird haircut, they clowned your ass hard back then. And that's all they had to go on, because you looked funny. Today, when these kids are so tech savvy, when kids in elementary school got cell phones in their book bags, you think they can't find your mom when she's put her chocolate starfish all over the internet? What are you gonna do with that information if you're a bully? You know, I don't envy anybody going into therapy or psychiatry as a profession. Kids in school right now trying to get degrees in psychiatry today who haven't yet passed the MCAT, I don't envy them. Because 10 years, 15 years from now, they're going to be inundated with kids who were small children, kindergarten age today. They're going to be teenagers at that point, and they're going to be SUicidal because they've been having, Xerox copies of their mom's spread eagle duct taped to their locker when they got there in the morning off the school bus. We're in for a rough ride as a culture. We're in for a rough ride as a culture. And we as men, because this is a male space, I want to reiterate that. This is a decisively male space, and we speak like men over here. Although I'm glad you're here, but you need to understand that. I'm not going to temper my tone. I'm being respectful to you because I promised I would be. But I'm not going to temper my tone when I call women like this out for being fuck-ups at life. You had any other choice you could have done, you chose the easy route. Well, your easy choice going to come with some hard-ass consequences. And that very well could be you, in her case, not getting the guy you in your mind envision yourself deserving. If any guy takes you seriously, it won't be the one that you truly in your heart want. And that's a shame for that guy because you're going to mistreat him. You're going to abuse him because she says she doesn't even like men no more. She's so desensitized. But what do you expect when you put yourself in those kind of arenas? When you commoditize yourself, how can you be truly surprised when the men treat you and speak to you like a piece of meat? Of course, you're going to have a bad opinion of men because the men who would purchase OF content aren't the kind of guys you would want anyway. She said so in the video. My only point that I want to leave you with is this. And again, I want to thank you for tuning in and writing in, Miss Jacqueline. I hope that this video finds you well. Hopefully I was able to provide some clarity to you and that you don't see me as some green skin monster with dripping fangs and claws. I'm a real person. I've got real women in my life who I pray to God never choose the path that she chose, or even worse, because this did not have to happen. The people who run OF did not knock on her door with the butt of a gun pointed at her forehead when she opened the door and said, "You're going to put your butthole on our website for money." That's not what happened. She chose to do this. She decided to do this and keep doing it. And she said in that video, she's going to have to be physically restrained to stop doing it. So who's the victim here? Is there a victim here? And if so, can we all agree that every trauma that she's been through and is currently going through is 100% self-inflicted? How sorry should we feel for her when she herself says she's going to have to be damn near handcuffed to the radiator to stop making new content? How bad is it going to get before it gets real bad? And her being Asian, even if she's second or third generation, I know that there's some people in her family, OGs, grandma, granddad, aunties, uncles, mom and dad, who don't play that shit. In that culture, honoring the family and honor alone are critically important. And for you to bring dishonor to your family, that's probably why she's so lonely, because she damn sure can't go home. Not after this. Once the word got out and the rumors started spreading and maybe somebody showed mom and dad the pictures, oh yeah, you are cut off. You are on your own. And again, all of this could have been avoided. But I'm going to wrap it up here because I think I've made my point. Like the video, comment down below. Share with a friend and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Never let your brother suffer in silence when the truth can set him free. Networkers, we work it. Until next time.